Hey folks, Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. It's time to look back and enjoy a week of Southeastern Conference football as we talk about what we saw in the field. And as always, we're excited to be partnered with our friends at Cowin Equipment. And they'd like to partner up with your company for all your heavy equipment needs. Visit everyone over at Cowin on their website at cowin.com to find out more about how you can save with your heavy equipment solution, from rental and new equipment sales to superior service and parts. It's all right there with our friends at Cowin Equipment. Visit cowin.com. That's cowin.com. Now let's check out the action.
You said, as we were walking into the studio, that it got away from Dan Mullen quick, and it's hard to imagine it getting away from anybody quicker than it got away from Dan Mullen in Gainesville.
I will stand by this. Dan Mullen, from year 1, 10 wins, to year 2, 11 wins, to last year, even with 4 losses, Florida got better under those 3 years. And to go from playing in the SEC championship game less than a year ago to being fired, it blows me away. I never saw this coming. Now, over the last 5, 6, 7 weeks, it just continues to mount up. But it shows you where we are in today's college football world. I mean, especially a program like Florida. You don't have success. You can't sustain success. You have one disaster year, you're out.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people will look at it and say, my gosh, you just won the East last year. I think if you step back and look at that, you would say that was more a function of the East and less a function of him.
Yes.
Oh, I disagree.
And Florida.
I thought that Florida team was really good last year.
Well, they were
really
8-4.
I know.
That's why you fire him then, Lance. If you thought they were really good, they were 8-4. That's not really good. That's very average.
Well, again, I look at the LSU game. That was pathetic that they lost. Look, and it was on a last-second field goal.
Well, but it was on a very undisciplined play by one of his players that set up that
But they played
field
Alabama better than anyone played Alabama.
They did.
And then they tapped out for the bowl game. And a lot of that's on him. Look, the culture, I think, was the main reason that he got fired.
I agree.
But I still think that Florida team last year was – I mean, the defense – got masked because the offense was so good, but that was one of the better offenses we've ever seen in the history of the SEC.
Scott Strickland said he has thoughts, but he'll keep them to himself on what started to go wrong with the program. I believe it was this scene, this night in Gainesville against Missouri on Halloween, that it all started to fall apart for Dan Mullen. I believe this is the watershed moment.
Luke, I am your father.
Thanks, Lord Vader.
What is it? I don't know. I mean,
May the force be with you.
May the force be with you.
Yep. So that's Dan Mullen then. Then they lose to Missouri over the weekend. And Eli Drinkwitz, wrapping up his news conference, gives us this one that we'll remember forever and ever.
We're just coming together, whether it's the seniors who came back, whether it's through COVID, through adversity, through people leaving, through people coming. It's a process, and we're building on that process.
Final question?
May the force be with you.
So
stupid. So hokey.
And the little smile he gives.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know where I was on Drinkwitz before.
I didn't like him, but I really don't know.
That is awful.
The question of the day is Alabama and what you saw this past week against Arkansas. There's 2 ways to look at it. You look at it as, man, Bryce Young set a passing record, and Alabama's rolling along, or I'm worried about the defense. And you can be both, obviously. But Alabama being judged by what you see from Georgia and Ohio State, Alabama being judged by what you saw from Alabama in 2020, I felt like a lot of people left Bryant-Denny Stadium on Saturday night still looking at the negative with this Alabama team and not the positive. Boy, Bryce Young put on a show, but they are so thin at running back. That you wonder, how many carries can Brian Robinson get and still be fresh for the SEC championship game this week?
Yeah, 27 carries this past weekend, and you wonder if Trey Sanders is going to get in the mix more. Only 1 touch, or actually 2 touches this past weekend, 1 carry. But you're going to have to give him some of the load. There's just no way that Brian Robinson can continue to go 25 to 30 touches a game.
I mean, look, Bryce Young set the school record for single game passing record, and I think the reason people are so concerned is he needed every one of those yards.
Yeah.
I mean, Alabama needed every single yard he threw for.
When he broke the record, he had already broken the record when Alabama was only up 6 and Arkansas had the football.
Exactly. I mean, so that was the concerning thing. It's not like Alabama went out and beat somebody 59-7 and he broke the record. You needed every yard he threw for. And I think that's why Alabama fans are concerned. Now, that said, you know, the defense gave up 30. The defense gave up 28. How you got burned for another special teams fake punt, I think if you go back and watch the replay, To'o bet on something. I don't know why he saw, but that's kind of what opened that play up.
Well, Henry said after the game, everybody, Henry To'o,
Okay.
everybody's got a player to cover in that. We knew it was coming, and it was Hellam's guy. And he got screened by the umpire.
He did. He got screened off by the umpire, but even with Helms not getting screened by the umpire, the throw was out in front of the tight end enough. He had to tip it to himself. That's how far out in front
it
was. It was a heck of a catch. I don't know that Helms breaks it up, even if the umpire doesn't screen him off like that.
How about the running into the line jump pass has become the in vogue fake?
It's every week now.
It's worked twice on Alabama.
We made some critical mistakes in the game. Whether it was on special teams, offense, defense, that never allowed us to really, put the game away. So those are things that we obviously need to correct, as I said, after the game, and things that we'll certainly address with our players. And I'm sure our players, want to make sure they get it right, and they're going to work hard to do it.
When a team's going to go for it and they get a delay or offsides or whatever it was, and it pushes them back, don't you probably say, guys, there's a pretty good chance they're going to fake this one. This is a long field goal. They were just about to go for it until they got the 5-yard penalty. I mean, you got to be on heightened awareness for a fake.
Look,
there.
I know Alabama fans are extremely concerned, but this Arkansas reclamation project that Sam Pittman has put together is amazing.
Yep.
I mean, it really is.
And he said afterwards in his postgame, and I agree with this, he said, the days of people kicking our teeth in are over.
He's right.
Yeah. I mean, you had it once this year. That was Georgia. But they're 7-4. They've got some really good wins, and they've got some good losses.
Yep.
And that was a good loss Saturday night based on second-year Sam Pittman, what he's trying to build.
All right, if money is the same, which job opening would you take? 40% say LSU, 36% Florida, 19% USC, 5% other. I cannot imagine who the others are taking. Who would they take?
I'd have to be a TCU alum to want the other.
Yes, Washington.
Virginia Tech.
Blowout or not in the Iron Bowl. Boy, I have had at church yesterday, and then I texted a few others just to get a sampling. I'm talking like hardcore season ticket for life holding Auburn fans are saying I'm considering not even going.
Yep.
Man.
But see, the way I phrased the question, Brown, you see, you're just assuming that it's Alabama with a blowout. It could be
Well, if
Auburn.
it's a blowout, it's Alabama.
It could be blowout Auburn. I mean,
No.
you can choose
It
whatever.
could not be.
It's like the ink block of a psychiatrist. That's what you saw first.
Yes, Alabama wins by 7 or more, 80% are with me, not away. Alabama wins by 6 or less, 10%. Auburn wins by 6 or less, 6%. Auburn wins by 7 or more, 4%. I don't know if you guys are talking Auburn. I've had a lot of Auburn fans say, I don't even know if I want to go. And I'm like, guys, this is the most vulnerable Alabama team in quite a while. I mean, now you're going to struggle to stop them, but you're going to be able to move the ball in this Alabama defense. And to a man, every Auburn fan is like, did you watch our offense in Columbia?
The offense was bad.
It was bad.
Yeah. You get up 14-0, another double-digit blown lead in back-to-back weeks. Now they've lost 3 consecutive games. I don't know. If Bo Nix was playing in this game, I think it could be a much different game. I just don't see T.J. Finley beating this defense.
I don't. It was puzzling the way they went away from Tank Bigsby, though, and that's on Mike Bobo.
You're up 14-0,
Yeah.
right? So it looks like you're gonna do what you expect an Auburn team to do to South Carolina in this situation. Then hats off to Shane Beamer, you battled back. But then you get, and Tank's having a good night, and was it 4th and 1?
4th and 1, I believe he's on the sidelines.
He was.
And you throw the ball. Now, I mean, I don't even know about going for that 4th down because, to your point, you're late in the half. I'd have to pull up the time, but it feels like it was like 5.5 minutes to go. Maybe. I'll pull it up.
You're on your own 35.
You're on your own 35. I mean, going for it there was suspect to me, but to not run TJ Finley or Tank Bigsby when you go for it on 4th and 1. To throw it, to let Finley throw it.
Well, and you're going against the third-string quarterback in Jason Brown. It's not like South Carolina's offense has been lights out. So I don't know why you don't punt. I mean, the highlight of the season for Auburn has been the defense for the most part. And you're right, Tank was having an unbelievable game. So if you are going to go for it, he's going to be on the field.
And here's Chandler Wooten. After the game up in Columbia, just the feeling inside the Auburn locker room after another defeat, this time at the hand of the Gamecocks.
How is the team taking this 3 losses in a row? I know just a few weeks ago you were right in the middle of this race, and now you're sort of playing for pride this week at the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks, to be honest with you. I mean, like I said, from where we were to where we are now. But all you can do is man up and, come back to work on Sunday. Because at the end of the day, this is life. You know what I mean? Like, you don't get to, lay down and pick and choose when you want to come to work. Everybody got a job to do.
Charles said earlier, one of our great female listeners, she has long gave away her thought of Alabama beating Georgia. I forget how she phrased it exactly, but she doesn't think this Alabama team, here it is, I have zero hope that Alabama can beat Georgia. Realism hit me 3 games ago. We are not destined for the playoffs, she says.
I would agree. Look, this number is going to be weird, though. If Alabama truly comes out as only a 3-point underdog to Georgia, I mean, that shows you that Vegas thinks it's going to be a really competitive game. Again, if Alabama plays their best for 60 minutes, they can beat Georgia. I just haven't seen enough consistency. And consistently, Brown, Georgia has been dominant all year.
They have been. I think they're the best team in the country. I think they're deserving to be number 1. And I think their defense is incredible. I would like to see that Alabama offense against the Georgia defense, and we're going to get to see it. That's what I think most people have been wanting to see.